The Star Wars franchise has had some rocky moments. With the release of Revenge of the Sith in 2005, the main storyline was complete. If you weren't interested in the novels or comics or video games, you were out of luck for new content. And with the purchase of Lucasfilm by Disney, the opposite problem quickly developed. They were producing tons of content, but it was content that half of the fanbase hated. But in both instances, it was a TV show that helped keep the franchise afloat. Let's explore how the Clone Wars TV show and the Mandalorian Disney Plus show were both far more crucial to the franchise than they would first appear. From the very beginning, Star Wars was a fairly gritty and very adult story. I mean, the hero's journey began by finding his home destroyed and the charred skeletons of his aunt and uncle. And although parts of the prequel trilogy seem to obviously be there for the kids, as a whole, the political and emotional themes definitely were still intended for a more mature audience. So how in the world did a cartoon manage to be so influential in sustaining the franchise? And if you've never watched it, don't underestimate it just because it's animated. Clone Wars was the driving factor for keeping the franchise relevant in the 10-year gap between main films. Now, yes, if you're an avid reader, you're likely pointing out the fact that there were 85 novels published in the same 10-year gap between films, which were also extremely influential. But the Clone Wars was far more important, appealing to a much wider audience than books alone could, and drawing in a brand new generation of fans. And the show was more than just a cash grab. This was more than a ploy to put toys on shelves. We adults were delighted to discover that this show had heart.
No, I'm not going to take the fall for something I didn't do.
I am ordering you to put down your lightsaber and come with me, now! Trust me.
Why are you so certain no one is coming?
We're just clones, sir. We're meant to be expendable.
Not to me.
We lost a true soldier. He really was one of us.
You can kill me, but you will never destroy me. It takes strength to resist the dark side. Only the weak embrace it.
It is more powerful than you know.
And those who oppose it are more powerful than you'll ever be.
This show wasn't just filler, it was being made by people who really cared about making it. Clone Wars was one of Cartoon Network's highest rated shows. It received praise from critics for its writing, character development, action sequences, voice acting, music. It has been nominated for 68 awards and won 23. Yes, it had some stupid, laughable, even outright boring moments, but it also brought something new to the franchise. It allowed the fans to really connect with the clones as characters. It humanized them, instead of treating them like an army of mindless droids that we never identify with whatsoever.
I only wanted to do my duty. Brother. Fight. Stay with me, Fight. Fight! Don't go, stay with me, stay with me. Fight. Fight. Don't go.
And this show didn't just improve the characters of the clones, it also made the Jedi Order something much more tangible. We spent time getting to know each Jedi far better than we ever could in the films themselves. This show elevated the character arcs of every major and minor character in the main films, and introduced fantastic new characters that quickly became fan favorites. And don't get me wrong, these 85 novels were great. They also expanded upon amazing characters, and millions of us read them and loved them, and look forward to the next one. But let's face it, the average consumer isn't reading books, they're watching TV. To stay relevant to the average consumer in between films, the franchise needed a TV show. And the very short 22-minute runtime and many battle scenes were perfect for getting both kids and their parents interested. It was a breath of fresh air for the franchise and created an entire new subculture of Star Wars fans. The franchise would not have died if Clone Wars had never been made, but at the very least it would have stagnated, kept afloat only by the die-hard fans who bought the novels and comic books. But thanks to this show, the franchise stayed culturally relevant. It drew in new fans. Because of this show, the franchise flourished. Fast forward to 2018. The fanbase is as broken as the characters we once loved. Disney, a beacon of hope, expected to elevate the franchise to amazing new heights, has instead given us numerous failures. Leadership, writing, production, public relations. With its storyline, The Force Awakens pushed some people away from the franchise. The Last Jedi pushed many people away, avid fans and average consumers alike. Toy sales are down. Galaxy's Edge was not at all the commercial success it was expected to be. It is undeniable that the franchise is in a rocky spot. Half the fans don't care what happens in Episode 9, and the ones who do are just curious how it will manage to tie together the fragmented story in the previous two films. Episode 9 is reportedly being rewritten over and over with reshoot after reshoot, trying to find an ending that people will enjoy. Disney's advertising budget soared as they tried to keep people interested in a franchise that was slowly becoming a laughingstock. How Episode 9 is received in theaters will be critical to the future of the franchise, and Disney is wrecking its collective brains trying to think of a way to get fans excited again. Actually, before that, let's back up about 3 months, because Disney actually made 2 strong decisions back to back.
The name's Rex, but you'll call me Captain or Sir.
War does not come with a guarantee. No soldier gets the promise of safety.
My designation is Trooper 27-5555, sir.
We call him Fives.
I'm Heavy.
This is Echo. I'm Commander Cody, your new boss.
Sir, yes, sir!
Bringing back the Clone Wars to finish off the series was an amazing decision on their part. I couldn't believe how much hype I was seeing, how excited people were to finally have a good Star Wars product on the horizon. And in an even smarter decision, Disney decided to have the premiere of the final season of Clone Wars happen 2 months after The Rise of Skywalker. They knew that no matter how Episode 9 was received, the hype on social media for Clone Wars would be fantastic for the franchise's reputation, either enforcing that Episode 9 was good, or repairing their reputation if it was bad. And then combine that hype with this masterpiece. Yes, this show has a few weak points. Yes, it tends to drag on in places. Yes, it feels like a video game where you're just doing mindless fetch quests and pointless boss fights to save a bunch of NPCs you just met. But this show also succeeded in every way that it needed to. The set design, story, and characters gave us nostalgic memories of the original trilogy, while also being fresh enough to be interesting to fans and average viewers alike. Yodels was adorable and became an instant phenomenon, making the franchise once again culturally relevant. Just in Season 1, Mandalorian has already been nominated for 7 awards and won 3. This show has gotten fans excited again, and when we are excited, the general audience picks up on it and wants to watch as well. There is no doubt in my mind that the mainstream popularity of Mandalorian and the announcement and excitement for Clone Wars' final season both led directly to the financial success that Rise of Skywalker eventually saw. Prior to these two shows, many fans weren't even talking about the franchise. Many of us were no longer interested. And what happens to the average consumer when they see that fans aren't interested in the franchise? These two shows may be the most important pieces of Star Wars content ever created, because they both held the franchise together and kept it culturally relevant in a time when it could easily have faded into the background. There is another Star Wars film slated for 2022. In the meantime, we're finishing up this final season of Clone Wars, and production is underway for Season 2 of Mandalorian. The franchise is still in a rocky state. Rise of Skywalker only added fuel to that fire. But now we have some quality content that not only keeps us interested and excites us, but also gives us hope that the next major films might be amazing as well.
Every choice made has led to this.
You never would have made it as Obi-Wan's Padawan, but you might make it as mine.
I'm sorry, Master, but I'm not coming back.
I'm so sorry for letting you go. I should have paid more attention. I should have tried harder. I don't know what to say.
Thank you, Master.
My Padawan, my Padawan, my Padawan.